that the energy here is very powerful.
So before you enter a church space or a temple space, you go to the neutral area because it allows your kind of auric field and your chakras to come more kind of inwards so that you walk forward into the sacred space.
An Anunnaki gravesite. I mean, these are 12-foot tall beings. That's the Anunnaki.
Alcos, manuscripts, hieroglyphic inscriptions, okay, but unfortunately it was found in here.
That's not giants. Giants are actually 24 feet tall. Oh yeah, big time. I'm just about falling over. I mean, massive.
You should have missed something like this.
The thing is that they had to have removed the contents. How did they get them? They opened every single one of them and they took the bodies out. Where are the bodies now? So there's a clear indication of stargates and portals, a peaceful exchange of goods, including technology, portal technologies, electrical, as well as ascension technology. Lion beings lead the way, followed by female humanoid Isis, Hathor, who's also a female humanoid, but with what they say is a cow's head, but does not look to me like a cow's head. Bird beings, Horus, the falcon, the ibis, and then crocodiles. Ramses equals the male ram, leader of the sheep. No war is indicated until the time of the Ramses. There are, I think, 10 Ramses from that bloodline. You've got a bird being, you've got crocodile, what would appear to be maybe crocodile and falcon, again the bird beings. You've got them riding on a ship together, these 3 or 4 beings, each on a different level. So they put them on different size levels, which is very interesting, that they're having a dialogue. They hold up their arms in a kind of a blessing, a form of blessing, of an offering. Some of the things, the ones that look like crocodiles may actually be crocodiles, or maybe, because we're quite a distance away, they may be dog beings, from Sirius. But they're definitely coming and exchanging information. Interestingly enough, not a lot of snakes like you get in Turkey. Turkey has a tremendous amount of sort of reptilian and snake-like imagery, but here we don't get as much of it. The lion beings are more prevalent here, certainly the bird beings. Interesting how that seemed to have changed over time. No subservience, only service to others. There's a parade of human beings with animal heads indicating humanoid origins of alien gods. The Anunnaki, or enigmatic beings with elongated heads, are also there. But I would say this is a depiction, quite a good depiction of a spacecraft. And she is arriving on a craft.
Middle, right?
Yes, with the round, she's in kind of almost like an orb. She's coming in on an orb-like craft. These are boxes. Perhaps it's a gate. Gate technology, what we call gate technology. The stargates are heavily contested at this time. It seems that the gate technology came in with these beings. This is when they learned to come and go. from this earth using a very special technology. This is quite an interesting being. It does look sort of like a monkey with a headdress, sitting on a little platform. Again, maybe a ship bringing in another group of beings. This looks like it could be the pine cone. I can't tell for sure. But if it is a pine cone, again, this is very symbolic. This was my 5th time visiting Egypt in this life. Yes, in previous lives I have lived there. But this time the hieroglyphics and carvings and structures spoke to me in a way that had not happened before. Perhaps I was listening closer, but I was no longer enthralled by the illusion, the romantic vision of Egyptian gods bringing knowledge to man. Instead, I saw a group of races sharing life and the knowledge about stargates and portals that lead to ascension and transcendence. Star beams, it seems. It's depicted on all of these temples. Star beams interacting with each other. So there's an eye in the sky, or is this an eye in the sky on a pillar? They've climbed their way up, right? They're all on different levels. So different levels of enlightenment, perhaps, different levels of ascension. And then at the very top, you've got the third eye. You've got what is in essence an ibis being, which is again Thoth or Toth. And you've got a mirror, perhaps a sense of judgment, but not necessarily. Maybe becoming all-seeing, an all-seeing eye. Very interesting to me that the human is on even footing with the so-called God almost all the time, except when the human is found sitting on the God's lap, which is another matter. So the helicopter obviously is high technology. This is what we're talking about. They had high technology. That's really extraordinary. It looks like he's bringing, Stargate technology, ascension technology to the people. And some of the people are coming along and riding on the boat with him. It's extraordinary. And then over there's a really great carving that seems that nobody destroyed. See above her head, in that square box? You've got somebody seated on a kind of a throne, the other person standing. Again, I don't know what they're doing, whether they're having a meeting somewhere, in a chamber. Perhaps they're traveling together even. The story on the walls of the temple is vibrant and enthralling. It tells the aim of humankind to surmount a propaganda of their circumstances and embrace knowledge handed down from several alien or extraterrestrial interdimensional races. It is all about the peaceful exchange of goods and services, knowledge and understanding. These statues, for example, look alien. they don't even look like the beings carved on the temples. Ramses was the ram, the head of the sheep, bringing his version of rebellion of the humans and conquest to the fore. But even he is shown receiving knowledge and understanding from various races. He is blessed by the humanoid beings, shielding him when he deals with the reptilian regime depicted as led by the crocodile. The story is complex and simple. It shows how ancient Egypt was completely obsessed with the notion of ascension, Kundalini activation, and traveling through portals to achieve unity with the divine. Of course, what constitutes the divine is in question. What did they really see as the ultimate divine conscious expression of Godhead, for example? They have so many gods and goddesses who are clearly ETs that until, of course, Akhenaten, one wonders what they considered God with the big G. See, this is like, look at the sun has these rays coming down. That's kind of like what the guy was holding on to with the chain. Maybe that's what the rays are that the guy's holding on to. Maybe they're saying it's powered by the sun or something. That craft that guy's sitting on. What they saw were cat beings driving the vehicles, okay? Now, cat beings are depicted everywhere, but not talked about at all, pretty much. And so this is Sekhmet, and Sekhmet is a symbol of the cat beings, one of the versions of cat beings, and there are many different kinds of cats, etc. So I also wanted to ask what the stone that Sekhmet is carved out of.
Granite, black granite.
It is black granite, okay. Because different stone has different properties, and this will also have to do with the energetics that they're sort of capturing, if you want to call it captured, by the imagery of having this statue in there, in that vortex area, and then you're using that statue as sort of a way of going into the vortex, mentally following that trail.
And that's beautifully said, Kerry, because in the Druidic tradition of Stonehenge and Avebury, we call it mergence. You merge, you become one with the stone on the geospiral vortex. So that's a really good, representation of an ancient tradition and how the ancients saw it. So, when we were at these places, we can merge with the energy field, because just like us, they have auras, and we can literally ask. And one thing our fantastic guide said, he likes the way I ask the ancestors before I enter any temple space.
That's absolutely right.
I ask the ancestors, will you accept me? I ask the spirit of place, will you accept me?
And that's what we should all do.
So, that's one thing in Druidism. You can't enter a temple space without asking permission, of it through your heart. Maybe left foot forward.
Still, their society was focused on a higher plane of existence and transcendence, more than in our time, certainly. They seemed to understand the mechanics of ascension and how crucial it was. Funny to fast forward to now, when few even know why it matters. If anything, Egypt is the last remaining chronicle of a civilization with more on its mind than war. And notwithstanding the possible finds in Antarctica, which will reveal the human ET civilization, where we lived out in the open with beings from other planets and dimensions, still, why was this the focus on ascension and peaceful relations with beings of all kinds lost? In our present state, we are limited by the mainstream hold on our consciousness. I encourage everyone reading this to loosen their minds and break the rules in every way mentally, because only then will they be able to go beyond the stranglehold the mainstream has over our members. I come across so many people in both the mainstream and the alternative media who can't handle real inquiry into who we are and what is going on. Even the alternative drone on about the same things and don't realize it's all been said before. So-called whistleblowers are afraid to reveal the real secrets. You can see the fear in their eyes and in their voice. They have been threatened, I do understand that. Still, in the end, life for them on earth is more precious than getting the truth out to free humanity, and so they perpetuate the lies. It's actually going through the stone into another dimension. Absolutely. And this is what this energetics it does. And they would build a column to depict the spiraling energy going up or going down, as the case may be. And there's a British series called Outlanders. Basically, she goes through the stone into another time and comes out the stone back here. So this is, again, what they're trying to harness, this activity through building their columns right on those spots.
If you start at the bottom like this, away from it, and lift the dowsing rod up, when it comes to an energy point, it will just naturally turn. And this is really, will be all around the stone. Then if you lift it up again, it will come up again. And it'll be sort of in between because they fluctuate.
We were talking before about the giants, about superhuman energy or power, or the sound technology, the technology of sound, creating a field of anti-gravity energy which can elevate such heavy stones easily. But look at this stone here, this block. One block, it is like seven-sided, one single block. Look at this, Zuzu. One, it is still the same. One, two, 3, okay, here, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just one single block of granite.
And that generates this force, the negative green, and it's such a carrier wave, yeah? You can put into that carrier wave what you like, it goes out on light, yeah? So when we're in there, we can interact with the carrier wave of humanity. So the pyramid generates this shape of negative green, it enhances it. And when it's by very hard stone, like granite, sandstone that you find at ancient monuments worldwide, it kind of absorbs it. Now when you receive an earth energy, you ask the ancestors, this is how we do it in my culture, you ask the ancestors, you ask the spirit of place, and you receive it. And you receive it normally through your feet, or you can receive it through your heart, and you'll feel your body move slightly, and that's when you've received the energy, and then you can be the carrier to do what you would like with that energy.
Some Egyptologists say that Egyptians had light, electricity, and certainly, as depicted here in what look like light bulbs, with an inner core that is a snake, it would seem so. But perhaps this is depicting the power of the snake, which is known as orgone in the West. It's also called Kundalini in the East and it is also known as free energy. We can think of orgone as plasma physics, and here an ape-like being holds feathers, indicating flight, which could be seen as activating and blessing the light energy coming from the bulb. Or is this acknowledging that human orgone or sexual energy powers the craft, such as the one they are sitting on? The device with the horizontal bands reminds me of magnetic currents, torsion field generators, and could indicate energy flowing through a sort of superconductor. This technology seems to power the boat or ship, and the ability to travel interdimensionally or literally space travel for these beings. It's all about Stargate and portal technology, okay? And that's all about going to other dimensions, other worlds, and also transmuting the soul back to eternal life, etc. So, travel, time travel. And here they have, he says it's the facade of the temple, and perhaps it is. But I would say what they are doing here is they are lassoing the portal opening. This is the portal. He is trying to draw the portal. He is making it possible. So this is, again, here's the technology for ascension, for moving through the dimensions. They are sharing this. The goddess, the god, or deities, as I might prefer to call them, are bringing the technology to the human.
Here we can see this hieroglyphic sign called D. D in the shape of a pyramid or a triangle, which means to give. Anch, you remember? Life. Jet, forever. D Anch Jed, giving life forever. For whom? For Ramses the Great. That's why, remember, Thoth, god of writing, knowledge and wisdom. And here, very interesting woman, very interesting goddess, Sishat, goddess of dimensions, goddess of measurements, okay, goddess of writing as well. But look at the carvings. These hieroglyphic inscriptions are thousands of years old. What kind of technology they have had to do something like this? Did they know about laser? Anyhow, this is the hidden knowledge or the lost technology I have been talking about.
But I think the bird may symbolize it came in a UFO. In other words, flight, we understand flight is the birds, and the UFO is depicted by this ship. So I think it may not be depicting the bird beings at all, but may be depicting flight.
But I have been talking to the manager of the temple to let us go downstairs.
Wow.
To get in the Osiris, and I swear to God, they hardly let people do that. So when I say yalla yalla, you get back upstairs quickly. But you should know that you are lucky that we'll go down there.
We're all part of this amazing revealing. They're letting you do what no one else has been able to do. This is extraordinary. So, the halls of the Mente are said to be accessible through the Sphinx, I believe. And it goes down deep. One thing when you come here is that instead of reading it in a book or hearing it on the internet, now you see it's real. Right? That's when it blows your mind. It really is an individual journey to awakening in the end. We can try to share the stages, but the revelations have a quiet certainty that no one wants to hear except the receiver. Still, I seek to find a way to share this elevated state with others. Journeying to sacred, energetically active places begins to lead us down a path. I wish to encourage more to heed this call to explore and connect with the hidden vortex energy in the earth. From there, they can scale mountains and approach the sacred mysteries of it all.
The sun is coming out of her body, and at dusk she devours the sun, symbolizing sunset. She is the goddess of the sky.